Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good evening and welcome. All council members are present with the exception of council members Phil Cook and Dwight Party. A copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the meeting room and is accessible to members of the public at any time during the course of this meeting. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda. All items under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests. First item on the agenda is item A, approve agenda as submitted. Item B, receive and place on file all notices pertaining to this meeting. Item C, receive and place on file all materials having any bearing on this meeting. Item D, approval of minutes of regular meeting on July 16th, 2018 as on file in the City Clerk's office. Item E, approval of Treasurer's report of claims in the amount of $560,525.82. Item F, approval of Boswell report of claims in the amount of $3,840.01. Item G, approval of write-off of ambulance bad debts. Item H, approval of pay request number 1 in the amount of $45,026.30 to Lottman Carpenter Construction for the Hannibal Park Ballfield Trail NG and PC project number NPS 31-01039. Item I, award of bid for Standing Bear Trail Phase 2 project 2018 to Lottman Carpenter Construction, Inc. in the amount of $370,429.70. Item J, approval of special designated license application of St. Joseph Catholic Church for a soup supper to be held on October 21st, 2018 from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at 612 High Street, Beatrice, Nebraska. Item K, approval of special designated license application of the Brass Rail for a luau to be held on August 25th, 2018 from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 212 Court Street, Beatrice, Nebraska. Item L, refer claim of Timothy Price regarding damages to his personal property to the city attorney and city insurance carrier for review and disposition. Item M, resolution number 6242, granting permission for the Beatrice Humane Society to hold a doggy dip evening fundraiser at the Big Blue Water Park on August 23rd, 2018. And item N, resolution number 6243, beg your pardon, approving the request from Main Street Beatrice to close Highway 136, which is also known as Court Street, from 4th Street to 7th Street on Thursday, October 25th, 2018, between 4 p.m. and 7:45 p.m. for the Night of the Great Pumpkin. Is there any item that any member wants removed from the consent agenda? From the council, from the public? Mr. Catlin?
Mayor, I would move that all the items listed on the consent agenda be approved, accepted, and or ratified as presented.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Bilsbach, that all items under the consent agenda be approved. Your vote, please. And that is approved 6-0. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing on the change of location application of Back Alley Eatery LLC, doing business as Back Alley Barbecue, 2312 North 6th Street, Beatrice, Nebraska, for their Class CK liquor license. Gentlemen, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Bruce Lang, Chief of Police. This is simply a address location, physically changing from one place to the next, and we don't see any problems with that, or didn't have any problems where they're at before. I don't anticipate any where they're moving to.
And this is on sale, off sale, and catering? Is that,
Yes.
okay.
Rob Brown, Chief Building Inspector. I did the planning report and I did not see anything. It's actually moving into an area that is more general commercial in 3 directions. On the east side, it's just agricultural crop production. No foreseeable negative effects there.
Any comments from the council? Anyone in the audience? Gentlemen, thank you. I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Mayor, I would move that the public hearing be closed at 7:04 p.m.
Second.
By Catlin, seconded by Billsbach, that the hearing be closed at 7:04 PM. Your vote, please. That is approved 6-0.
Mayor, I would move that the change of location application of Back Gallery Eatery LLC, doing business as Back Gallery Barbecue at 2312 North 6th Street, Beatrice, Nebraska, for their Class CK-102373 liquor license be recommended to the Nebraska Liquor Control Commission for approval.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Morgan, that the change of address for Back Alley Eatery be approved. Any further discussion? From the audience? All right, gentlemen, your vote, please. That is approved 6-0. Next is a public hearing for the purpose of considering adoption of Plan Modification DD to the redevelopment plan for redevelopment area number 2, which is the Hevelone Building redevelopment project.
This building is the Carlson Schaefer Davis Law Firm downtown. If any of you is familiar with it, it's the building just south of Security First Bank at, I believe, 114 North 6th Street. Their plan is to go in and essentially remodel the entire building. And so they've applied for TIF financing to go along with that project. There will be substantial modification both to the facade of the building, but throughout the interior of that building as well. When we looked at it, it certainly does qualify under the TIF regulations. We've been to CRA twice with this project already. They've recommended it both times. Planning and Zoning has reviewed it. They've recommended it. Other than that, it's a pretty standard TIF project. Upon completion, the increase in value will be used to help pay back the loan that they acquire for the improvements they're looking to make.
Do you have a picture or anything of what the facade would look like? Do they have anything?
The only picture I think we have at this point is a black and white kind of sketch that doesn't have much detail to it, if you will, as far as exactly what the facade will look like. Not enough to give you a good indication. But it'll go back to the way it looked like back in late 1800s. I think that's their plan.
Didn't they get one of those facade?
They also got the downtown facade improvement program. So the two pools of money will be used for different portions of the project. Obviously, the facade program will go towards just the facade of the building. The TIF money can be used for other projects within the building.
Yeah, I heard they're gonna have horse tie-ups out front, Greg, so it.
Any other questions from the council, from the audience? Mr. Catlin, entertain a
May.
motion to close public hearing.
Mayor, I would move that the public hearing be closed at 7:07 PM.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Billsbach, that the public hearing be closed at 7:07 PM. Your vote, please. That is approved 6-0. Next is a public hearing for the purpose of considering adoption of Plan EE to the redevelopment plan for redevelopment area number 1, which is the Beatrice Lodging redevelopment project.
So this
Tobias?
building is for a new hotel to be built in the north side of Beatrice. It would go just north of the existing Holiday Inn Express before you get to Farm Credit Services. So essentially in the parking lot of Holiday Inn Express is the best way to describe where it's going to be located. We are still working on having a plat designed and sent to us so we can have that reviewed. That'll be another process that comes through. It'll be an extended stay hotel. They're looking for 46 to 52 rooms upon completion.
Is this any way hooked up with Holiday Express? Are they?
It'll be a different chain. There may be some joint ownership back and forth, but there'll be a different chain.
I think there's going to be enough parking out there.
That's one thing they do have to submit to us is parking. The initial plan that we saw for the TIF application appeared to have parking built further to the west to extend the parking west of where it currently is located. But that has not been submitted to building inspections by any sort of building plan or anything like that, so we can verify that for sure. But they will have to make sure there's adequate parking for both facilities when they're done.
Rick?
This would just be a perfect time for that PACE funding for us to consider that.
We have suggested it, we have talked about it, and
Good idea. Any other comments before we close the public hearing? Anyone from the public? All right, Mr. Catlin.
Mayor, I would move the public hearing be closed at 7:09 PM.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Morgan, that the public hearing be closed at 7:09 PM. Your vote, please. That is approved 6-0. Next is the resolution number 6244, adopting plan modification DD to the redevelopment plan for redevelopment area number 2, Hevelone Building redevelopment project.
Mayor, I would move that resolution number 6244 be passed and adopted.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Morgan, that resolution number 6244 be passed and adopted. Any further discussion? regarding-
After this approval by this body, we'll go back to CRA for a fifth and final meeting on a TIF project. At that one, we'll have the redevelopment agreement signed by the developer and by the CRA. Those redevelopment agreements have been sent out, but not yet been returned to us, so that'll be the next step.
Any other comments, questions? All right, gentlemen, your vote, please. That is approved 6-0. Resolution number 6244 has been passed and approved. Next is resolution number 6245, adopting plan modification EE to the redevelopment plan for redevelopment area number 1, Beatrice Lodging redevelopment project.
Mayor, I would move that resolution number 6245 be passed and adopted.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Billsbach, that resolution number 6245 be passed and adopted. Any further discussion regarding the hotel?
Same thing here. Once this body's approved it, we'll go back to CRA to approve the redevelopment agreement. The other thing that will hold this one up is we have to have a plat come through because you have one parcel, we have to divide it into two. And so you'll see the plat come through. It has to be approved before we can approve this because we need the legal description on the plat to put in the TIF agreements so that the county assessor knows which properties to divide.
They're not attempting to change the entrance or the exit off the highway, are they?
No.
This is all just to the west of their property that they own.
Still
Correct.
use the service road.
Adjacent service road.
They'll still use the same service road.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it does seem to be that they're wedging this in there. Is it just because of the property availability, or that's where they wanted to build, or I mean, it seems to me that they have this huge piece of property that where the Storecraft building used to sit that I would like to see something stuck on, and I know the city doesn't have anything to do with this, but when they talked to us about this, did we nudge them towards that?
By the time I had the first conversation with them about this project, they already picked the
Done.
location.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they had those conversations prior to us getting involved, but
Well, I assume that what I just said is something that had been talked about in your office as well, but I just wondered what happened,
I think the determining factor is that they own the
that
property.
they already own it.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Any other discussion from the council, from the public? All right, gentlemen, your vote, please. That is approved 6-0. Resolution number 6245 has been passed and adopted. Next is item C, resolution number 6246, entering into an agreement to loan $8,500 to Larry E. Cassabaum and Joyce Cassabaum for their building located at 110 North 7th Street as part of the Downtown Facade Improvement Program and CDBG Grant 15-DTR-109.
Mayor, I would move that resolution number 6246 be passed and adopted.
Second.
By Catlin, seconded by Morgan, that resolution number 6246 be passed and adopted. Tobias?
so this is the 17th and final one of the Downtown Facade Improvement Program applicants to sign the necessary paperwork to start the project. Most of the holdup has been a disagreement between the property owner and SHPO as far as what improvements need to be made. Initially, the application was to change out some of the windows in the building. SHPO wanted a certain style and type of windows. Quite honestly, the property owner thought they were too expensive. And so we tried to go back and forth, see if we could find a cheaper window that would still work and still have the aesthetics. Ultimately, we couldn't come to anything that SHPO would sign off on. And so the project's kind of been pared down just a little bit. It's still going to be some stucco repair and some repainting of the building is what it's ultimately going to end up being. But the windows will still stay in their current conditions. So what you have is, it says up to $8,500. Most likely he won't get the entire amount just due to the fact that his total project won't be large enough because the first cap is he cannot be more than 75% of the project. And so if he doesn't have enough cost in there, and the initial estimates are that he won't have enough cost in there, he won't get the full $8,500. But we did left it at that. In the case is every other project, you start something enough, ultimately you end up finding something else wrong with the building. It just kind of grows a little bit now and then. He still has the same deadline, has to be completed by October 1st.
This is his building down there on, that he's got all his stuff in.
Correct.
And now, here, a while back, he was having trouble with flooding. Did we ever go down there and cut into that curb to, for the
Catch basin?
catch basin?
We started that project this morning.
My golly, you're on the ball.
So they started this morning and should be finished hopefully by the end of the week.
Good, good. That'll take care of one of the problems then.
Bias. I had a couple conversations with him. I'm assuming it's reference to this same project. Is he satisfied at this point?
With,
I've never heard that he's not. I think he would love to do the windows and do some of those things. He just, can't come up with can't afford to make the improvements that SHPO's requiring, and without their blessing, the project doesn't go forward. And so,
All right.
I think that's kind of been some of the holdup. And
Well, the stucco work and the repainting will be a big improvement.
any other comments from the council? Questions from the public? All right. Gentlemen, your vote, please. And that is approved 6-0. Resolution number 6246 has been passed and approved. Next is item D, resolution number 6247, establishing the final allocation for levy authority for property taxes for the Airport Authority for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2019.
Mayor, I would move that resolution number 6247 be passed and adopted.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Claybaugh. Resolution number 6247 be passed and adopted. Tobias?
every year, the Airport Authority has to come to the City Council to have their levy approved. This year, they're asking for a slight decrease in not only of the request for tax dollars, but also in the levy as well. The total request is down about $10,000 from last year, and their levy is down 0.001701 from last year, is what they're requesting.
Questions about his math? Anyone from the audience? All right, your vote, please. And that is approved 6-0. Resolution number 6247 has been passed and approved. Next is item E, resolution number 6248, entering into a contract with Steve Bragg for animal control services.
Mayor, I would move that resolution number 6248 be passed and adopted.
Second.
Moved by Catlin, seconded by Billsbach, that resolution number 6248 be passed and adopted. Tobias?
Well, Steve came to me here not too long ago and advised me that his contract was about ready to expire. He's been doing it now for about 9.5 years, and so what we have proposed is a 3-year contract. The dollar amount remains the same as it has been since the day you started at $60,000 per year. Basically, all the terms and conditions remain the same. I think the only thing we changed on this contract was his address. I think other than that, it is essentially the same contract you've had for the last several years.
Questions, anyone? From the public? All right, your vote, please. And that is approved 6-0. Resolution number 6248 has been passed and approved. We have no ordinances this evening. Next is the public forum. Purpose of the public forum is for the presentation of an item by the general public to the City Council for consideration at a later date. No discussion or action will be taken by the City Council at this time. Any member of the council have anything for the public forum? Anyone from the public? All right, we'll go into discussion and reports then. The first is the tire amnesty program that is, I think this second year maybe, but Linda Grell's going to, maybe it's more than that, but Linda Grell's going to talk to us about that. Linda?
I just wanted to come forward tonight and update the City Council as well as the general public. This will be our, just a second. Wow, I can't read my own writing. I think it's 14th, and so we do it every other
That's
year.
close.
And we wouldn't have gotten a grant this year. They really cut back on funding with Nebraska DEQ, but they went with the grants that did it every other year, and that's why we were fortunate to get one. A lot of communities didn't get one. Just want to remind the public that it's going to be next August 15th and August 16th, and the time is from 8 to 5 or until we would reach 375 ton, which is a lot of tires, but we have done it before. And so it will be shut off after that time. And want to remind people there's no rims and no tire dealers can participate. And it's a real good program to clean up our community, as well as I think Wymore and Blue Springs are having citywide cleanups and bringing them up. At least they talked about it. They did 2 years ago and brought in about truckload after truckload. So it really did clean up the community. I just wanted to say it's our 12th one, so we do it every other year. And so I added up how many grants we have gotten, the total, and we've gotten $333,800 in grants. That's 2,639 tons, which when you calculate it out, it's 5.3 million pounds of tires. So it's a lot of tires. So look forward, and I just want to say we are going to have some law enforcement present that morning, and that'll greatly help. The first car 2 years ago lined up at 4:30 in the morning, and by 6:30, 6 o'clock, they were down Highway 136. So we're going to have some police presence and law enforcement out there to take them through the fairgrounds. They'll wind back through the barns, and then the first one will come out the entrance gate to the fair. So they'll still be first. They'll just be get them off the highway. Any questions about it?
You know when you have 375 tons.
How do you know?
Yeah.
Well, I actually have a
experience
form
of
from
12
Nebraska
years doing
DEQ. We sit there with a calculator, and one line is tires, one line is truck tires, one line is semi tires, and add them up at the end and find out how many tons on each sheet. And when I get very close, I tell Paul, hey, to quit it, because there is no money to go over, and I certainly don't have money to go over, and neither does the county, I'm sure. So, did you have a question?
No.
You did.
Where do these go then?
We have to bid it out. We have to get 3 bids, and some of the there's 2 bids we like to. There's 2, and we got Champlin Tire Recycling out of Concordia, Kansas, and they promised us that they would be in the second day and start hauling semis out. So we hope they'll do that. There's no anything to make them do that, but they're a pretty good reputable firm.
Linda, what time was that again on the 15th? And
It's
16th?
15th and 16th.
Yes.
Yes, 8 to 5, or until 375 tons have been taken in.
Any other questions, Linda?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Linda. Next, under the discussion category is an update of the proposed new fire department. Chief Dakey?
Okay, so we've met with JEO, which is the firm that you all approved for us to work on with a schematic design. And so far, what they've done with us is looking at a standalone station. We did talk to them too about, the remodel of the current facility and what that's going with, and we have not had that discussion yet, but they know about it. The 2 different documents, one's landscape, one's portrait, otherwise you'd have one. The first one on the inside, this is our current layout. We've got 15 apparatus in the bay. It's 7,500 square feet. And then we've got a couple of trailers on the outside. And by the needs assessment, which we went with JEO on that, the landscape document, they come up with we need about 16,000 square feet for the apparatus bay. And the thought behind that is industry standard has become where you're 18 feet on center between truck to truck. So that way you can have the doors open on the apparatus and still be able to move up and down safely. As you can see by ours, it's not quite to scale, but sometimes you have to turn sideways to get in between a few of our trucks. And actually, Engine 2 and Medic 3, where they're back to back like that, is pretty much to scale. So Jake did a good job in getting that one taken care of. So then also with the needs assessment, by looking at our existing facility, where we're using the rooms now, Proposal is 1,000 less square feet in that area, but then on the flip side, Beatrice Rural, who we've had a long-standing relationship with, they would like their own office, a storage room, and then there's a couple other items that we would need to add to it as well. And we've had some small group meetings with JEO, and then we've had a couple of meetings where everybody in the department was invited to. Everybody kind of gave input and thoughts and what's going on there. So we do not have a site picked out. We do not know if we go with the standalone where we're going. They do have a study, which at some point, if you want to see it, we can share it to you, but we don't really want to make it public. But they've got 8 different sites that they have looked at. But like I said, we are not committed to any one location. And then things that we've learned through this process, we always talked about having drive-through bays. Something we've learned is it's going to be dependent upon the site. Is there going to be enough space to do a drive-through bay or not? And then there's other areas where we'd have to readdress the issue from there. Because like currently, one of the challenges we have is we stack our vehicles. Well, and if they're stacked parallel, like that first bay with engine 1 and ladder 1 in front of it, that works well. But as you see the rest of the station, where the apparatus is, they're stacked side by side, and they have to go around things, go around the pillar to get out into the response area. Some of the like the second page in the landscape is one exercise that we did. They had the areas that they thought would be appropriate for us, and they had this all to scale so the guys could cut them out and then move around and build their own little fire stations. We did have a couple that did that. The following page is just what a bay would look like with 16,000 square feet if it was just a rectangle. It's huge. And then through there's just different layouts that they did for us and with our input on some of it. And then the last 2, which are also show a site plan and then like kind of a 3D drawing of a facility. Those are options 1 and option 2s from our last meeting. We have not given them any feedback on that because I know there's a couple of things that we're getting closer. Let's just put it that way. There's still some items that we need to tweak out. So that's where we're at. The other thing that we're with the Yellow Street being changed right now, we really need a station that has access to two roads. Because right now with the mill and overlay process, they're going to mill it, but when they start doing the overlay, they're going to basically cut our apron in half and overlay it this way, so we can only go down 3rd Street and 2nd Street, which will cause a little bit of a delay in response, but and then once the asphalt's set, which if I remember right, James says will take 2 days because we don't want big heavy trucks going over those things. They're going to finish off the asphalt on the other side, then we'll go up on 4th Street to respond to everything. So. Don't know why we never thought of that before, but it's just one of those things that just like, ooh, this is going to be a challenge, but we got it worked out. So,
Rich,
Go ahead, Chief.
question?
okay. Actually, I was going to say that's all I've got at the moment. I'm welcome to answer any questions that I can.
How soon do we have to have this in the works to get it into the election process in November, or can we?
So at your next council meeting, we will present to you, assuming you guys still want us to move forward, a resolution to have you vote on. Is it a resolution or ordinance?
Resolution.
If this body approves it, it would be presented to the county clerk. She would put it on the ballot for the November election.
Now, by the next meeting, we'll have prices, we'll have plans for
So what your
whichever way we
resolution,
want to go. And
what your resolution will say, it is being reviewed by bond council at this point, is essentially the tune of, the city's looking to build a fire station. It's going to be approximately, 30,000 square feet. Estimated price is X. Or you agree to have sales tax raised by 0.5 cent to cover the cost of the, for a duration of however long the bonds are outstanding. We probably won't have a lot of those things detailed down at that point, but you'll at least have a cap. You'll
Where
have,
we can put it out to the voters.
yes.
Chief, 65 was when you guys moved into that
Yep,
building?
1965.
And the apparatuses have gotten larger and more complex.
Correct.
Plus, we took on the ambulance squad.
Right, yep, back in 1965.
And I have been in there, and I'm not a young, swell man anymore. I'm kind of portly, and you cannot get between those fire trucks, and it's a shame. We need to do something. We don't want to do something. We need to do something with this thing to get the service that you guys provide for us so well.
Yeah, another change that's come with fire station design is the apparatus bay, the garage is 6 inches of concrete. Minimum now is 8 inches reinforced because the vehicles are getting so much heavier and bigger, and now they have water tankers that carry 2,000 to 5,000 gallons of water. We don't have anything like that. That's for different services, but
And if we can,
It adds up.
we don't have any public debt anymore right now, do we, as
only-
far as this end goes?
Right, the only debt you have on the city side is some public safety debt that we roll every couple of years.
Yeah, and also, we're going to take this out of sales tax, correct?
Correct.
So everybody will be paying for it, not just the homeowners. This is a project that is it's a must. And you know me, I don't like to spend money, but this is a good project and we need to have it done. Because when my house starts burning, I want you to get my Husker stuff out. The rest of it, I don't care, so.
What I like about this design, they take a lot of other things into consideration other than just space. One of them is firefighters are subject to carcinogens on a regular basis, especially at any type of a fire. Once they bring their garb back in, it goes into kind of a quarantined area. So it doesn't infiltrate the rest of the facility. So I think we have to also take into consideration the health issues that face our firefighters today.
Right, and then the last two plans, option 1 and option 2, they're kind of color coded where public, private areas that, I don't know, orangish, yellow, beige, or whatever it is with the apparatus bay. That's the Mayor was talking about, the apparatus support area where decontamination can take place without it going into the living areas. So that a lot of consideration has been put into that, and you see the little red squiggly lines. Another big thing that we learned about was travel distance, where you're at in the station to get to the front door of the rig. Ideally you want that under 200 feet, a straight shot as quickly as possible. Perfect world, it's around 100 foot. This is also a headquarters station, and it's got a lot of space, so.
Bob?
So with this plan, is it also, will this be kind of like an all-in? I'm thinking fixtures, equipment, FF&E. Will that be included in this?
Yes, when we look at the price, we'll get the price not only from JEO for building the building, but we'll add in some additionals for additional fixtures and things like that you would need as well.
Yeah. And when you build a nice facility like this, you also make sure that you have the right equipment that goes in it.
Put the old stuff back in.
So, property, that'll be included in the.
No, well, the price you get from JEO will not include, obviously, the land acquisition, wherever that might be. So that'll be something else that we have to obviously add into their number as we look at possible sites for land acquisition.
Right, so is there a possibility to reduce the cost on it if the land acquisition is done general fund or other dollars that we can spend on that?
There are possibilities, yes. I mean, nothing says you can't buy out of general fund dollars. You could use public safety debt. There's a number of different other things you can use to keep that particular sales tax as short as possible.
Right. So, last question.
Yep.
I've caught the news over the last week or two. Fire sprinklers?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, we don't repeat an Omaha kitchen fire.
That's what I was referring to.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be fully sprinkled. We'll have a security system, CO detectors, all of that stuff. So, yeah.
One of the fire stations in Omaha burned down.
Yeah, the kitchen fire they
Yeah.
left. And
So would the apparatus bay and everything be sprinkled?
yes.
The
yep,
whole thing?
Yep. Yeah, because fire trucks, I hate to say, do catch on fire occasionally as well.
Brian, have you had much public input yet?
I've talked to quite a few people. I've not, knowing it's sales tax as opposed to property tax, they like that. They believe that we need the need of a new facility. I honestly have not gotten any negative feedback to my face. So,
Let me tell you something from talking to somebody that's run for public office. If everybody that tells you they're going to vote for you votes for you, the other guy gets none.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Any other questions of the chief? Anyone from the public have any questions of the chief? Thank you, Chief Takey.
Thank you.
We'll get something put together and presented next, in 2 weeks. All right, next item on the agenda is an executive session, but before we go into executive session, I want to announce that our next city council meeting will be on August 20th, 7 p.m. in these chambers. Now, ask that we go into executive session. Mr. Catlin?
Mayor, I would move that the Beatrice City Council go into closed session at 7:20 p.m. for the, 7:35 p.m. for the protection of public interest to discuss contract negotiations, real estate, and strategy with respect to litigation which is imminent as evidenced by communication of a claim or threat of litigation to or by the public body.
Moved by Catlin, second by Billsbach, that we go into executive session at 7:35 p.m.
All those in favor?
All those in favor? Thank you, Tobias.
No problem.
6-0.